Hello, I'm Elisa Zhang, and I'm a physician and life coach. Today, the topic is money and what is expensive. And my message to you is that price is relative. So, what is expensive and what is cheap? What is a lot of money and what is not much money? Is $1,000 a lot of money? Well, if you're talking about buying a car, $1,000 is actually quite cheap. If you're talking about buying a house, $1,000 is like nothing, right? But if you're talking about buying a pencil, $1,000 is kind of ridiculous. You know, but you can actually imagine that someone might buy, a pen that's $1,000. Maybe it's studded with diamonds. Maybe it's made with gold. So price is really relative. And so when you think about what is expensive, you kind of relate it to, well, what is the going rate for that item? What can I buy it for easily? What's a good price for it? And also, do I even want it? Right? So there are some things that may be cheap, but it's just not something you actually want. So like maybe you're really into cars and you love cars, and so you're willing to spend, $100,000 on like a Lamborghini. Or maybe a car to you is just something that gets you from point A to point B, and it makes zero sense to spend that kind of money on a car. You just want something reliable, and you drive like a Honda Civic. So, a Honda Civic may seem like a cheap car to someone who is willing to spend $100,000 to a Lamborghini, but a new Honda Civic may actually seem quite expensive to someone who just graduated from college and is still looking for their first job, but needs a car in order to be able to drive to their first job. If someone offered you an Audi or a Mercedes Benz for $5,000, like even if you don't like luxury cars, you'd probably think that was cheap. And you may even consider just buying it because you could resell it easily for more than that $5,000, right? If it's a brand new Mercedes Benz, the cheapest Mercedes Benz, I think it's probably around $40,000. So if you get a brand new one for 5,000, it would probably take almost no effort at all to sell it for 20,000, you make 15,000. Now, for some people, making 15,000 for such an easy transaction is a no-brainer, and they would definitely do it. And for some people, it's like, oh, that's too much effort, to buy the car and figure all that paperwork out and then find a buyer and make sure that, their funds are good and actually collect the money. It may seem like 15,000 is not worth doing it for. So again, price is relative, money is relative. And then, we think about things like engagement rings, right? Or diamonds in general. So De Beers has made diamonds an exclusive stone, even though in all honesty, there are enough diamonds for I think the quote is like every American could have a cupful or something of that nature. If you've ever tried to resell a diamond, you know that you'll get a fraction of what its quote appraised value is, right? So what's that diamond really worth? But when people get engaged, typically they'll go buy a quote, brand new diamond instead of going to find a used diamond or going to a pawn shop to buy a diamond or going to Craigslist to buy a diamond. Not that Craigslist might be the most reliable place to buy diamonds, but you get it. I'm talking about just a secondhand market. And why is that? It's still a diamond. Why does it matter if it's quote brand new? The diamonds have been, sitting in the earth for thousands of years under a lot of pressure in order to actually become a diamond. Who cares if someone wore it before? But there is some superstition, like people don't necessarily want a diamond from a marriage that went south, and that person is now selling that engagement ring or getting rid of that engagement ring because it was the product of an unhappy marriage. But it's still a diamond. And someone might have paid $5,000-$10,000 for a 1-carat diamond, which now that they can only sell for $2,000 or $3,000, or maybe not even. Or like when you think about what the cost for dinner is, you can get dinner at McDonald's for under $10, or you can go to Alinea and spend a few $100s on dinner and wine. Or any other fancy restaurant. So Alinea happens to be one of the, I guess, most fancy restaurants that I know of that's in Chicago. And I can't remember what the price was, but that was definitely the most expensive meal I've ever had. So, some people are willing to go to Alinea on a monthly or annual basis. And some people, it's a once in a lifetime experience. And for some people, they would never spend that kind of money just on a one-night dinner out. So what determines what is a lot of money? Well, in the end, it's really what you think. and your thoughts about it that determines what's a lot of money and what's worth it and what's expensive. And as long as you understand that and you own it, then it's fine what you think. But it's always nice to question, when you think something's expensive, why are you thinking it's expensive? Do you actually think it is not worth the price it is? And would you never pay for it? Is it because that's you're not in the audience? Could you imagine someone else paying for it? What would you think or do if your spouse wanted to buy something that you thought was just much too expensive? Would you stop him or her from doing that? Or would you still be supportive? Would it matter how much the money was? Or if you had the money, if you had to use credit in order to purchase it, or if you actually just had the money? Is there a limit? Is it okay to spend something less than 1,000, less than 5,000, less than 10,000? You can imagine lots of things where you think it's ridiculous and expensive, but your spouse or significant other or someone you love thinks it's worth every penny. Like, I'm not a purse person. I couldn't imagine spending $20,000 on a purse, but I know people who do, and they love that purse. So it's all in the mind. So that's our subject for today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you'd like to work more about your money thoughts and your money mindset, please set up a consultation with me. You can do that at my website, growyourwealthymindset.com. I'd love to talk to you. Thanks for watching.